We have Counsel Seguya Paul from ASB Advocates in studio. Good morning, Counsel.
Good morning.
How? Good to have you, and it's such a delight to have some of our OBs. I'm now also an OB courtesy of osmosis.
By affiliation.
OB on a wonderful hill.
Fun fact, this
Yeah.
man made me do work. This man
Can you
made me run quotes.
Which has made you a better person?
It's okay, we thank the Lord. We thank the Lord.
Oh, they're wonderful here. But we're here discussing about a fact of production, land that is very, very key in our country, and every single day there are land transactions, and but I think it was last week where we heard from, was it URA and the land board?
Correct.
And they were saying that we're going to start, everyone now who has to either, if you're buying or selling land, you have at 10 million.
Yes.
Now it is 10 million and above. You have to now register with your TIN, and then just that was like, hey, what do you mean? That is shocking, first of all, 10 million. But there's something that we were discussing. First take us through the process, what happens when someone is purchasing land? Where does URA and the land board, where is the intersection between the buyer and the seller? Yeah.
So thank you very much, Iki. So when you buy land, at the point of transferring, URA comes in at the point of transferring that this land has been owned by Eki and we are transferring it into the names of Paul. At that point, you have to first go.
I'm also Paul.
Oh, nice to meet you, my namesake.
Yes.
So when you go to have this transferred,
Okay.
you first go to the government valuer, who will tell you that actually this land, in the system of the government, it is 5 million or it is 50 million.
Okay.
And therefore, you pay stamp duty of 1.5% of the value that the government valuer has informed you worth of this property or this land.
This is separate from what the person who's selling the land to you says the worth.
Yes, you have transacted and you have said, me, I'm selling my land at 10 million. The government valuer has told you, in our system, this property or land is 20 million. So you pay 1.5% of the 20 million as the stamp duty.
Okay.
And then registration fees 10,000.
Right.
So that is actually where URA is coming in to say where the value of the land is more than 10 million, 1.5% stamp duty. As it is, before you pay it, you have to declare to URA who has sold, who has bought. And the way you declare that is by putting your TIN information into the URA system. That Eki TIN number 105456 has sold this land of 20 million to Paul.
Okay.
You get it
With TIN number
with TIN
1000.
number 1079. Yes.
So you mean before this was not existing with the land transactions?
So what was existing before was 50 million and above.
Or it was a higher amount.
Yes.
Okay.
So, so anyway, for me who has not bought land worth 50 million above, I didn't know this was something overwhelming. Like, what? Mutuchimie, you have come to us.
Right.
For the OWW.
Yeah.
And some people actually think that it's a new tax.
Yes,
it's not.
because
It's
it's
not
not
a new
new.
tax. It's just declaring
Okay.
that I'm right here and I have had a transaction of this amount of money.
So it's
Yeah?
not a tax.
It's not a tax. It's it's information that you're giving URA that I'm actually transacting in this amount of money.
Wow.
Okay, of course that has implications,
Yeah.
which we can discuss.
Aha. I like that you
At
say
this
that
point,
has
yes.
implications. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we are discussing those implications.
Correct. Registered with URA and you get a tax identification number.
Which is
So,
TIN.
yes,
to
which is
answer
TIN.
Omuntu
So
Wawansi.
don't say TIN number. It is tax identification number.
Yeah.
So what has been happening is that URA has been asking for the TIN of the buyer and not the seller. So now even the seller should have a TIN. Okay? And what that means is that people have to get TINs. Which has been left to maybe middle earning people, and now salaries. You have a small business somewhere, so now if you're going to be engaging in these transactions, you will find people who actually have no other business apart from this one piece of land that they have. That one piece of land is going to cause you to register with URA, and probably it might be your last transaction you're going to ever have.
Wow.
But that is what it's going to mean to everyone who is engaged in these transactions, both buyer and seller. Okay? And that registration with URA, which requires you to have a TIN, which requires you to have national identification, and when URA is actually registering, for you to get a TIN, they usually ask for more than one identification.
Yes,
so
verify.
Ugandans who don't have a passport or a driving permit, I think URA has to now compromise.
Village letters.
Your high school,
Perhaps.
high school ID.
You know?
We also have those ones.
Yeah, because they are the students who actually have
Yeah.
pieces of land and can sell the same. So URA has to accept, if someone only has a national ID, accept that and get the TIN registered. So people down there, you have to get this TIN, and you also have to get your records straight. If you've been transacting and you didn't care how much, because when these transactions come, money arrives and then you don't know how much the owner gets and how much the broker is also going to get, and then the LC is also going to get some money. So keep your records of, I have sold this land maybe 10 million, but I have kept
This
5,
amount of money,
I gave the broker.
Okay. And in transactions, I think it's important because there's something that is also always have a record, always have people signing,
Correct.
and agreeing to the amount.
Correct. And put the right amounts in your agreement. Put the right amounts in your agreements.
These things for going to the petrol station and say put in 50k and then say you give me a blank receipt.
Yes.
We see you, you are smiling at yourself right now. Yes. So there was for Omuntu Wawansi.
Correct.
That is the buyer and the seller.
Yes.
But then the implications on URA.
The implications on URA is one, these are the most transactions, even more than those of 50 and above. So URA is giving themselves, one, a lot of work, capturing all this information and even following up all these people. Because you don't want all this information coming in the system of URA. These are the people transacting. And then at the end of the year, they are supposed to be, paying their income tax, and, no one is following them up to pay the income tax. And then at the end of the day, like, what was this for? You understand? So, one, they're giving themselves a lot of work. And of course, if they do that work well, that is a lot of money coming in from the government. If you have, Omuntu Wawansi and more other people paying their taxes at the end of the day, at the end of the year, that is a very wide tax
which should be a good thing. Which
Yes.
is a very, very
Yes, so you see more
positive
hospitals,
thing.
more roads.
That's the hope. Eh?
medicine.
That's the hope. I hope we will see more hospitals.
You will.
That time we are believing that the doctors will stop striking and be
Yes,
sorted.
yes.
But it's first of all, it's a good thing. Pay your taxes, number one.
Yes.
Right.
The usage, you can still, there are
Give to
channels for
Caesar
you to.
what belongs to Caesar.
Yes, there are channels for you to complain about that.
But before you pay your taxes, declare
Okay.
the income correctly.
See, that's the thing about the
Declare
declaring,
the income
The keyword here
correctly,
is correctly.
and then you'll be able to pay the correct
Yeah.
tax.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Now, I was reading some remarks from when they announced the issue, like 10 million. And someone was saying avoid pressure-based tax policies, you know? Do you think this particular tax is out of pressure? Like, was it well thought through? Like, can actually URA manage an additional, let's say, 2+ million teens in their system?
I think that's again from internally as URA. Are
Yeah.
they prepared for this? But also even the Omuntu Awansi, is he prepared for this? Because you see, this is a notice that came out and said effective 6th December.
Which is...
You
Which
know,
is past already.
Yeah,
It's
which is
already
past.
we are already.
And there were already transactions that were already in the process.
Yes.
Someone has already probably half paid the land. Maybe they have paid 8 million, and after 6th December they are going to pay the balance of 2 million. And in our discussion, there was no requirement of a tin. You
Yes,
understand?
absolutely.
So were the people ready? I think not. You know, we're not ready. But so it could be some
How
pressure.
can that? Yes. So how does that get sorted now? You can't reverse the transaction per se.
Of course, how does that get sorted is now you have to get your
Just stop where you
your
have stopped.
seller and say, please come, let me help you go to URA and get a tin. The problem is if they don't agree,
Oh yes.
it's going to be a problem.
Yes.
You know, I think there should have been maybe some 6 months notice.
Awareness,
Right.
yeah.
And then you say people register, get your tin,
would
get
be
your tins,
losing
get your tins.
Revenue.
Get your tin, because this is what is going to happen.
Yes.
Because for, you know, coming up with that in just in days was kind of, you know, pressure.
Rush.
Yes.
The rush. Yeah, people are not ready. But, well, now that you're hearing this information, you can get ready so that you fit in the game.
It's sad because it feels like a knee-jerk reaction of sorts in trying to get these things done. Because I think if it's done well, then the system, because there's so many, I can guarantee you, there are so many people who have, this is like a new tax. Yeah, and that's how they view it. And so there's
Yes.
going to be resistance. So you're going to have even for those in real estate. I think for us in the metropolitan area, maybe the information might sieve in a little faster.
Yeah.
But
Because you get the paper,
I'm wondering
you
how this gets into the real estate, agents also. How it affects them, slows down the business, slows down. Everything is going to be.
Correct, because of course, when you look at these real estate companies, they first buy land.
Yes.
You understand? Who do they buy land from? For example, you might never know. For example, if they ask you that Jomai has an estate in somewhere in Wakiso, you do not know who they bought this land from, and you do not know how much
It
this
was
person.
bought,
You
yes.
understand? So, if this initial seller is now told that Jomai is coming to buy your land at this amount of money, and you're going to have to pay
This
you
amount
know,
of taxes.
you're
Sit
going to have to declare it at the end of the month. You say,
I'm not selling.
yeah. So what actually that then means is that you have people selling, and then they say, when it comes to transfer, that's your business.
Okay.
Do not concern myself, because you see, this tax or this stamp duty is at the point of transferring the land, not the selling. Selling, you can always sell, someone buys, pays, but at the point of transferring is where someone is going to say, you know,
it's too much.
you find someone else to sign these transfer forms for you. If he's going to ask for my tin, I don't want to be in that business. But I think what URA needs to maybe help the mass appreciate that it's okay and right for you to pay taxes at the end of the year if you've earned an income, and actually to also, you know, help people understand the values in terms of how much tax do I pay at the end of the year, because I think some people even can afford but are afraid of. When they think of URA, they think of tax, they think of
They think like in huge numbers.
You
Like
see,
I made my car 10, they might take a whole 2 million. It could be less, you know.
yes. So URA has to, have that kind of education that you guys, it's actually good to pay taxes, because in developed countries people have no problem paying taxes because they are aware, how much tax do I pay, and also where it goes.
All right. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back to add more to this discussion.
Is not affected because
Yeah.
Okay.
We're opening ones here, sir.
yes, because like we said, this comes this
At the
this
point
stamp
of
duty,
transfer.
it's
Point
for
of
transferring. So
Right.
of course, where the land is not registered, there is no registry for transferring for unregistered land.
Very
Okay,
good. Yeah.
and it is true that a lot of land, the biggest chunk of land in Uganda is not registered.
Yes.
Okay, so so if you're transacting in land that is not registered, you are safe. You are
Okay,
not
why are you
required to
breathing
have
with
this.
this?
See,
If,
House of-
if you are safe,
It's I don't want to say it is a sign of sigh,
Uh-huh.
but because on such land is where lots of Bafere thrive.
yes,
Unregistered.
unregistered
Yes.
land, bibanja,
Yes.
land.
Uh-huh.
So these transactions,
Yeah.
when you buy a chibanja, there is no transfer
Mm.
done. You
You just have a
there is no-
chibanja, you just have an agreement.
You just have an
this is my
agreement, and
land.
someone else. Yes. However, of course, you see what
You
I was
now
talking
start
about.
processing the title.
Yeah, what I was talking about of URA helping people understand the need to pay their taxes. So, if Bibanja owners and sellers appreciate this, they'll be like, yeah, I have earned my 20 million from selling my Bibanja. Let me declare that
Yeah.
this is income that has been earned, and at the end of the day and the year, I will pay my taxes on that 20 million. Although there is no transfer, there is no 1.5% stamp
Yeah.
duty
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah.
But this doesn't apply to unregistered land. And a lot of land in Uganda
Is
is
unregistered.
unregistered.
Wow.
And many transactions, even on registered land, there are transactions of Bibanja on
Okay.
registered land and Bibanja not registered.
Wow. But I know that with time we are going to get to that too, because somehow I don't know, maybe you are the gentleman in law and I don't know, of course with the land tenures that we have, the customary Milo
Freehold.
yes. I know that there's one that I think the government prefers. Which one is that?
Freehold,
Freehold,
of course,
yes.
Freehold
Where
and leasehold.
where
Of
government
course, leasehold where you're paying
Yeah.
ground rent and every year, and a premium. Of course, that's income for the
Yes,
government
so that one.
every year.
Yeah.
That's what is best for them in terms of getting money.
Money, yeah. Quite interesting there. But now we get into the implementation.
Yeah, that's the key point. Yes,
Yes.
you've passed the policy, but implementing it, which is always the problem with all the nice policies that we do have in this country, implementation.
Yeah. So implementation involves, like we said, people getting tins. Okay. Do we have is URA ready to go down to the grassroots in the villages and help people understand the process of getting tin? Eki here in the studio and Ronnie, you can go on your computer and apply for a tin.
I have a tin.
You see
I have a tin.
in a few days you'll have your tin.
Yes.
But down there where people don't have computers, they don't have internet, they have to physically go to a URA, office. What is the distance that URA is?
You are offices in the village.
Where
mostly
you
urban
understand.
areas.
So that is the first part of the implementation. How do people get
I
tins?
can guarantee you my uncles don't have tins in the village.
Okay. So
I have
now
many of them.
you are going to help them with your laptop. After they have gotten the tin, at this point of transferring land and you want to declare, there comes a point of declaration.
Okay. What's the process?
The process of declaring this transaction, which is done definitely online. Me as the lawyer, I can as counsel, I can declare for my client who is transferring land.
Oh, okay.
But many people transfer without lawyers.
True.
You know, or do these transactions without lawyers. Do they have the capacity to declare? Because this is done on the URA website, the declaration. Yeah. So, do they know how to declare? Eki, do you know how to declare
I actually do not
a land
know.
transaction?
I
You
will not lie to you. I'm
Yeah.
that
I
ignorant.
also don't know
You
for
you
sure.
get it.
Yes.
It's something simple, but you see, do people know? Yeah. So that is one thing that URA has to think about in terms of implementation. Do people know how to declare, or does URA have the capacity to declare every transaction? You know, everyone comes and says, "Oh, I've sold land 11 million, 12 million, 3 million, 13," and they have to get into the system and declare, put the TIN of the seller, put the TIN of the buyer, and the details, location, da 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 da. Do they have that capacity? So that declaration,
Right.
and at the end of the year, after people have declared that I have transacted, then you declare your income as an individual, that this is how much I have made this year, and then you get an assessment of your tax, and then you pay that tax in the bank.
Okay. Wow.
Are we ready?
We are ready.
We should be ready, but I think that, like you mentioned, that we would have been given time to be able to, for sensitization. Because, and I think we should have, hopefully we can get a URA person to come and speak into
Sensitize.
that, yes. But there is definitely need for sensitization, a lot of it. Even deep down in the grassroots. If even as we wrap this up, you deal in land. What are some of those most critical things that you, because I know people are selling land in this month, you've saved
They've
your money,
saved up
you've done
Christmas
whatever
presents
you
and
have
must enter the new
Christmas,
year.
what, yes.
The summers have come.
But summers are to disorganize the economy. What are those critical things one needs to be aware of before they kufera them?
Yeah. I think one, of course, as a lawyer, I will recommend, first of all, get a trusted lawyer to do and to advise you on the due diligence.
ASB Advocates.
Yeah, ASB Advocates. So
We have told you,
yes,
we have told you, you refuse now, and you come crying at us that they have robbed you.
They have robbed you.
That-
Because some buyers do not know even what due diligence to do. You understand? You don't know where to go. For example, you buy land and you don't even know this land, in which registry do I actually do the search? Because there are different registries. Land might appear to be in Kampala, might appear to be in Wakiso.
PG or Wachiso.
You see, but even when it is in Wakiso, we have two different registries for Wakiso. There is Busiro, there is Chadondo.
Yeah.
Where does the land fall?
There's two registries, eh?
Yeah. So you see,
Yeah.
so one, the due diligence. People need to invest in due diligence. Invest in the lawyer. It will save you having a conflict that is going to end up in court. Maybe end up there for 5 years, and possibly even we have even had genuine buyers lose the cases.
Yeah.
Even after 5 years. You bought land, you paid, but you've gone to court, your evidence is not there, it is wanting, it is not convincing, and you even lose. You lose land, lose money, lose everything. So due diligence, in order to avoid being defrauded, is what we can advise people. Do not be in a hurry to buy. Someone will tell you, this land is going to be sold if you don't bring in the first deposit today. It's going to go. You have never. People can even arrange an LC. Have you heard about this?
Yes.
They come
in
up
the deals.
with they come up with an LC chairman and a vice and a secretary and a defense and women council, and you think you're actually meeting the actual LC committee, yet these are fraudsters. So don't be in a hurry to transact. Someone will present themselves and say, I am the owner of this land, yet they are not, So don't be in a hurry to spend that money. Use trusted lawyers who can investigate and, tell you you're dealing with the right people, you're dealing with the right, leaders in the community. Then, you can go ahead and transact.
That's right. Well, would like to thank Council Seguya for his time and for the blessing that he's been to us.
Thank you very much.
You are
He actually told me when I said the pleasure is ours, he said the pleasure is yours, but the pleasure is mine, but the pressure is on you. May I say I felt no pressure, but I've actually enjoyed this
Yeah,
conversation.
I have that effect.